Hey everyone, Barbara Drazga here, DealDivaWholesale.com. Today I'm going to talk about something that was spurred, an idea that was spurred when I stopped in a bookstore this weekend. And I was thinking a lot about mindset. Sometimes on these Facebook groups there's a lot of negativity and people frustrated and upset that their Amazon FBA businesses aren't moving forward and they're just stuck sourcing wholesale. And then people just kind of get stuck in that negative energy and the complaining. So as I walk into this bookstore, right in front, there's a big display of a book by Brian Tracy and his daughter. Now, if you don't know, Brian Tracy wrote the book, Eat That Frog. Now, when I first read that book, Eat That Frog, which is about overcoming procrastination, I read it years ago. I went out and I bought this really cute frog. All right, it's a piece of art. It's all bejeweled with Swarovski crystal, and he's pretty heavy too, and he sits on my desk. And he is my reminder every day to eat my frog, that big hairy thing that is just looks like it's impossible to do, and I'm complaining about it, and I'm making excuses not doing it. That's my frog for the day, and that's my first task of the day, is to do something towards eating that frog. And I managed to turn it from a negative energy into something positive, because I really like my crystal frog, and he sits here and he's pretty. And so I put some humor behind, the procrastination I do sometimes around, we all do. We're busy, we're entrepreneurs, we have families, we have jobs, we have things going on, and it's easy to procrastinate. So I wanted to put some humor around it, so I got this cute little frog, and he sits here and he reminds me. So Brian Tracy came out with a new book with his daughter called Kiss That Frog, right? Mwah. And it's about overcoming negative thoughts and emotions. How cool is that, right? So first of all, let me share the screen. I'll show you the book so you can go pick it up. It's on Kindle. You can get it in your local bookstore. There it is, Kiss That Frog. 12 great ways to turn negatives into positives in your life and work. And it's, it's pretty fast, quick read. It's well priced. Just go ahead and pick one up for yourself. Do yourself a favor, pick it up, and also get Eat That Frog, The Overcoming Procrastination. And that's just a little book. It's like this big, hardcover. You can get the soft cover too, but it's only about that thick. So the way that it's organized is so it's easy to get through and remember and implement. And Kiss That Frog looks like it's the same way. I haven't read it yet. But it led me to think about sharing this video with how I perceive my role in my business. So I consider myself a chief problem solver, CPS, instead of CEO or CTO, I am the CPS in my business. I am the chief problem solver. I need to get a t-shirt made saying Deal Diva, Chief Problem Solver. I probably will do that and put it up on Amazon or something. So what happens when something happens and we find ourselves complaining, oh man, all these brand restrictions and this and that, something happened that annoyed us that particular day. And we start going down this negative rabbit hole of complaining and just being a naysayer. So the first thing you have to do is have some self-awareness, catch yourself. Because we're human, we're not always positive all the time, all right? But we can catch ourselves and just start practicing awareness when you find yourself complaining a lot about something you don't have control over, but complaining's not going to change it, like the weather. I live in Arizona. It's 98 degrees. It's May. People are complaining about the weather. That just flummoxes me. Why would you complain about something over which you have no control? You only have control over what you do with it. You can fry an egg on the sidewalk. You can go to an air-conditioned wall and do a power walk around the mall. You go to the gym. You could whatever. You get on a plane and fly somewhere cool. So complaining about things you can't do anything about, it's just such a waste of energy. And we do that in our business sometimes too. So I wanted you to just start having a little bit more self-awareness when you start going down that negative rabbit hole. So you are the chief problem solver in your business. So when something happens, here are the steps that I use. I've got my little notes here. See that? Number 2, you want to replace whatever complaining you're doing and whatever complaining is going on around you. You want to do this with 2. So you're not soaking in all these, all this negativity from people who are making excuses and complaining. So you want to replace the complaining with solution brainstorming. Okay? So what that means is, that's number 1. Number 2 is you have to learn to ask the right questions. So instead of asking, why did Amazon put this brand restriction on? you replace that with a better question, right? A solution-oriented question. It's like, okay, how can I work within this new brand restriction? And now you've created a question that you can provide answers with. Instead of trying to answer the question, why did Amazon put a brand restriction on this brand? You can't answer that, right? And nor would you have control over whatever the answer is. That's Amazon's, right? But what you can do is ask a question over which you'll have control of answering. So you ask a question like, okay, this is restricted. How can I contact the wholesaler? And how can I convince them to allow me to sell their brand? How can I offer added value to that wholesaler? How can I pull those items back and sell them on a different platform? So now instead of complaining, you've put your chief problem solver hat on and you're coming up with ideas that you can find solutions for. You're asking better questions. So one is to replace your complaining with solution brainstorming. The second is to ask better questions, ask the right questions, questions whose answer you have control over. And then the last thing is you want to use something called a problem statement. And a problem statement has the ability for you to generate any number of answers to, as opposed to a yes and no answer question. So if you ask yourself, can I source this wholesale? Yes or no? And if for some reason you have a glitch and you're thinking, oh, that supplier will never sell to me. I'm too small. I can't afford the minimum order quantity. I don't have enough money. You've talked yourself out of it and answered no right away, right? When the answer could be yes. You just haven't asked the right question. Now, if you reframe your questioning by using 3 words at the beginning, how might I? How might I? How might I talk to the wholesaler and find out what his problems are selling his products on Amazon, and discover what I can bring to his brand so that he will allow me to sell on Amazon, right? How might I? So if you approach problems in your business from a chief problem solver standpoint, ask the right questions, replace your complaining with solution-oriented thinking and brainstorming, and then create problem statements that you can answer that start with how might I, or how to comply with Amazon's brand restrictions, how to come up with the $3,000 they want in order to ungate me in that brand so that I can sell $100,000 of that brand's products this year, right? So instead of saying, oh, I have to come up with $3,000 or $1,000 or whatever they're asking to get ungated, find out how you can set yourself up for so that investment is minuscule compared to the amount of profit that you can make if you solve the problem in a different way. So that's my 2 cents for you today. This is my little shot video.